The 2025 draft is almost here. That means it's time for final mock drafts. This is how I think the draft will go, not necessarily what I would do. And we're to the Detroit Lions. This is a team that I put a lot of work into, did a lot of sifting through tomfoolery to get to a draft that I feel really good about, and I would really like this for the Detroit Lions. So let's get into it. We start with their first pick at number 28 overall. I believe it's 28. Yep, 28. Gray Zabel. Offense, he's listed as a tackle. He's going to be a guard or a center in the NFL. Hank Fraley is the reason that I'm doing this. His son plays at North Dakota State. He will be the replacement to Gray Zabel. His name's Trent, I think. And he has waxed poetic behind closed doors about how good Gray Zabel is. He also fits Dan Campbell to a T. Now, I would love to have that secondary edge rusher at 28 for Detroit. In this scenario, the only one that was on the board was James Pierce. I seriously considered giving James Pierce to them. Ezraku was gone. Mike Green was gone. Obviously, Abdul Carter was gone. And they've been really locked in on the guy that I took in the second round, Josaiah Stewart out of Michigan. Local scouts have had really good eyes on this kid at Michigan in the last year. He started at Charlotte, and there might have been somewhere else in between there. Josaiah Stewart is one of the most interesting evals I've ever seen because there are certain people in this league that think he is going to be a situational, hand-down edge rusher that plays linebacker, off-ball linebacker on the first two downs. His pass rush win rate was 27% last year at Michigan. He's an undersized guy, but damn, he wins. And he wins over and over and over again. And Detroit's been really in on him through the process. I love the idea of starting Zabel, Josaiah Stewart to begin the draft, and then you start kind of filling the holes as you go. And I'll explain them as I go. 102, Harold Fannin Jr., tight end out of Bowling Green. This kid's really more of an H-back that is a real weapon out of the backfield and can play some inline tight end. He was one of the leading receivers in college football last year. It was at Bowling Green. Didn't impress me all that much at the Senior Bowl. Didn't impress me all that much at the Combine. But you go back and watch the tape and go, this kid's really crafty. He's not a freak athlete, but he's a good athlete. And he seems to be open a lot. He's also a plus blocker, which I look at with how much Detroit's going to run the ball. I think he could lead to they had him in for a top 30 visit, and it got in my head of, man, you could leak this kid out of the backfield. He could be playing fullback. He could be playing H-back. He could be playing inline tight end. And he could be playing some in the slot on the opposite side of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love this start for Detroit, and I'm not sure I don't love the day three even more. I cannot pronounce this kid's name to save my life. Fourth round, Ashton Galati. Every time I come up with a pronunciation that I see the pronunciation for it, somebody tells me, nope, you're wrong. So now it's Ashton Galati, edge rusher out of Louisville. This kid wins at a high level. He's not a freak athlete. He's very much a tweener. I'm not sure. Some teams have him as a defensive tackle. Some teams have him as a 4-3 edge. I don't see that. Others have him as a standing 3-4 edge. I really don't see that. I'm not sure that his best fit is not as a pass rushing defensive tackle. He's just undersized. And he is going to have to get stronger if he moves into that role. But he wins as a pass rusher, he wins at a high rate. And he does it in a way that's really replicable because the technique is good. And it's had to be because he's not crazy fast. He's not, the body frame's not perfect, but his tape at Louisville was really impressive. Then we get into late day three, Kobe King, linebacker out of Penn State, another guy they've been in on early in the process. I think there's a lot of potential there. It's just going to take you a year or two to get it out of him. Nick Nash in round 7. Another of the funny thing is that in this mock draft, the Detroit Lions get 1-2 in terms of pass yards last year among receivers in college football. Nick Nash is a bigger outside receiver, not crazy fast, just kind of a technician. The reason that I put him with Detroit is that they visited with him at the Combine, and he reminds me a lot of Josh Reynolds. There's not a lot physically about you that I'm overly impressed about, but you do seem to get open at a very high rate. And then the final one is at pick number 244, Ruben Hippolyte, linebacker out of Maryland. That kid was not made. I mean, he was made in a lab somewhere because he is freak athletic. He's raw, but that's the reason you get him at the end of the 7th round, and Detroit has been all over him through this process. Detroit Lion fans, do you like this draft? Do you hate this draft? Are there players that you want to talk about? Or would you like to just see what a mock would look like if I had gone edge with James Pierce at 28? Had I done that, it would have looked more. Let me pull up my full position board here. It would have gone something more along the lines of Pierce at 28, probably Jonas Savaiinaea in the 2nd round, and then Fannin sticks in the 3rd. Basically, you just flip those 2 picks. I still get a guard, still get an edge rusher. And I'll be honest with you, I love James Pierce too. And no, he's not a character red flag. I'm at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Green, and this has been a 7-round mock draft for the Detroit Lions. Subscribe to this channel to see all of our content, including live, every day, every pick, live from Radio Row 2025 NFL Draft. We will see you from Green Bay, Wisconsin.